Hello everyone, I'm Dylan Walker, your host, and welcome to our special edition of Youth Power. With the annual 2 sessions underway in Beijing, we're excited to dive into the perspectives of foreign youth on the 2024 2 sessions and China's economy. Today, we'll explore their insights on crucial matters, spanning from the significance of the 2 sessions to their take on China's economic path and its global allure for investment. Let's jump right in.
So the 2 sessions refer to annual meetings for the National People's Congress and Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference in China.
I think it's important to observe the 2 sessions if you're wanting to answer the question, where is China going? A lot of the people that are interested in the 2 sessions outside of China are investors, because the 2 sessions is when economic policies are brought forward. So things like China's GDP growth plan for the next year brought forward, and China's premier gives the work, like the annual work report, which is really good to see how China improved over the past year.
China is not just a country where the people at the top are just making the laws and dictating the rules of the game. You know, it's really a full cohesive process which takes into account people and members of different organizations from around the country. So creating a representative sample of the population of China so that the government can make effective policies that benefit everyone in the country.
For me, I think what I'm most interested in is the topic of domestic tourism. We saw domestic tourism grow, and I think more people are understanding just how valuable tourism can be to individual provinces, especially those that don't have large amounts of resources or other things that can benefit the economy. Tourism is a really important place to concentrate.
Very exciting because China now, aside from focusing on development of cities, is really trying to bring a higher standard of living to the countryside as well. And so this is something that I have never seen. I mean, I've traveled to many countries in the world, and it's something very innovative and very fresh and new and exciting.
I heard he mention sports tourism in particular. Having teams of different sports come to China to play their sport and to compete could be very, very beneficial to the country.
So a series of recent policy measures sent a clear signal that China is firmly committed to expanding, opening up. So recently the country announced that it will remove all restrictions of foreign investment access in the manufacturing sector. I think that's a great sign of China's high-level opening up policy in practice.
I don't see this happening in China, and I think if you really impartially read the reports coming out of China, you will realize that that's not really the case. A lot of this has to do with the lens with which the Western media chooses to look at China, and so a lot of it tends to be exaggerated or looked at with a bit of cynicism, whereas the reality is that, I mean, despite the impact of the pandemic that has actually impacted the entire world, China is picking up pace and sort of getting back to normal economically much faster than many countries actually.
First of all, this statement comes from certain Western media. It seems as though the source of these claims from people who are talking about the situation in China and the people who are actually living in the situation in China have 2 different ideas of what this means. Yes, it is growing, but if it reaches a high point, I think that high point, instead of peaking, it's just one peak of a range of peaks, so it will just continue to grow, continue to peak. Not due to these external pressures, but in spite of these external pressures. And so China's economy, in my opinion, from here on the ground, will continue to grow.
I completely understand why people come to this conclusion when they look at China's current economic situation. But I think a really important thing to look on is a saying. There's a saying in Chinese called crossing the river by feeling the stones. And the idea behind this saying is to feel things out before you make any dramatic moves. You want to make sure that you have a good, solid, stable ground beneath your feet before you make a large leap. So for China, I think coming out of COVID and the economic issues that COVID brought, they're wanting to take things slow and be cautious. So we're not going to see any dramatic shifts or changes. I think this 2 sessions is going to be the feeling of the stones, where they're going to bring forward policies to try and solve some of these economic issues, to feel things out.
So global de-risking and reshaping of industrial chains presents both challenges and opportunities. China's commitment to a broader, more extensive and deeper level opening up policy can enhance its attractiveness to foreign investment by providing a more favorable business environment, access to a large domestic market, and opportunities for participation in China's economic growth. And this could bring significant development opportunities to enterprises in China, especially in high-tech industries, green energy and services.
So I'm in the field of technology and working with AI, and so this is the field that I tend to follow the most. So basically for foreign investment firms or individuals who intend to invest into China, I think it's really important to follow, for example, the 2 sessions and the reports that they put out in terms of what the emphasis is in economic investment within China. And it's not even a mystery. It's just as long as you have a grasp of the economic dynamics within China.
I think this is a really, really good question. And I think that for China, what it needs to concentrate on is stability. That's what investors like. They want to make sure that what they're investing in stays constant and doesn't have any dramatic changes. But I do think that China could improve in terms of communication. I think clear communication is very, very important, and trying to be open with these people that are wanting to work in China and invest in China. That will be the best thing to do in order to ensure China's economy continues to grow.
I noticed that there are a lot of countries who, despite the claims from Western media and despite those Western de-risking, they are looking for themselves. And as they're looking for themselves, they're realizing, hey, China is not what the Western media claims that it is, not the aggressive takeover kind of business people, as we would see in Western headlines, but we can actually do business with them.
The insights of our foreign Gen Z guests on the 2024 2 sessions and China's economy bring a diverse range of perspectives, from recognizing the importance of the 2 sessions to expressing optimism about China's economic trajectory and its attractiveness for investment. Their views offer valuable insights into the global youth perspective. That's all for today. See you next time.
One of them would be obviously the policies that affect me personally, so policies regarding people-to-people exchanges, foreigners coming to China for study, for work, the facilitation of these exchanges. So what I have noticed recently is that China is boosting the emphasis on such exchanges. For example, just in the past week, China and the US announced that they're increasing flights by 100 per week, which is really great news.